Well, good evening, Tiffany. You can see the tents and a lot of debris is still here, but the people are not. And what's happening is the city mandated that the protesters must be out of the park and cleared by midnight. But it appears that tonight's windy conditions just might give those protesters a little extra time. Well, Jack, Tiffany, the students behind this newspaper article definitely have a lot to say, and tonight they are hoping that Lisbon School Board members and administrators are listening and are willing to learn from the situation and how it was handled. Fire station number 2, as you can see, is still boarded up and it's surrounded by other abandoned homes, but the city has a theory. They say if you fix what you have here, then it's likely the homes can be rebuilt too. A number of the residents here, Tiffany, have had their homes tagged before, but it's never been racially motivated. Tonight I can see that the writing is gone now. It has been covered up, but police want to know who did this, and they say that they don't believe at this time it's the makings of a hate crime.
Kelsey Minor is live right now to explain how in tonight's Connects Against Crime report. Kelsey?
Social media is big right now, and police officers realize that. A number of the agencies use it to stay connected with the community, but say a suspect is on the loose. And putting that information on sites like Facebook or Twitter can generate tips and leads, and that potentially can lead to an arrest. Iowa City police officer is attacked. The struggle caught on dash cam. Help! Surveillance photos show the suspect in a nearby restaurant. And across Johnson County, a new crime-fighting tool brings in the tips to his identity.
And ultimately, it was very successful in getting that person apprehended.
It is social media. Facebook and Twitter, new crime-fighting tools for the modern digital age.
The community is a little more techno-savvy with all the cell phones and computers.
So local law enforcement agencies are getting social.
Our police department initially started with Twitter, and that was about 4 years ago.
Today, the number of Twitter users following Coralville police is around 900.
It's great to have that kind of instantaneous connection with people in the community that you wouldn't otherwise have.
It's a service law enforcement agencies are using a number of different ways. For example, letting you know when snow hits the ground or special projects in your community. But they're also using it as a way to fight crime.
We're able to get out information, safety information, and self-protection information to arm our citizens, to arm our community, to better protect themselves.
The University of Iowa Public Safety Department is ranked 5th by the International Association of Police Chiefs for the number of followers on its social media sites.
We decided last year to actually take another look at our social media and be a little more proactive.
And Johnson County Police Agency saw a record number of followers in January when they sought help finding Brandon Plummer, the man who allegedly attacked that Iowa City police officer. Like Facebook and Twitter, police officers know social media, and the way it can be used is evolving.
Part of our goal was to continually change the face and update the social media to keep people interested.
Interested in a tool to protect the communities in which we live. And more people are turning to Facebook and Twitter to connect with police. The officers we spoke to say it's possible that one day the social networking sites would be an avenue to report crimes as well. Covering the corridor from downtown Cedar Rapids tonight, Kelsey Minor, CBS 2 News. The shelves are stocked. The wine is being poured. And at Cedar Ridge Vineyards, it's all American.
The U.S. has always been a large wine producer.
But the U.S. hasn't always beat out the French when it comes to consumption. That was until last year.
I think here in America, more people are starting to be turned on to wine.
In 2010, 330 million cases of American wine was sold. Compare that to the 321 million French cases sold. American wines may have outsold French wines, but Americans are still drinking far less. Look at it this way. Americans are consuming this much wine while the French are drinking this much.
I don't see us surpassing the French for a very long time as far as consumption goes.
But at Ben's Beverage Depot, the customer knows best.
I think there are more Americans drinking wine and I think they're drinking more domestic wines. There's a better price point.
And it's all adding up
6283. Debit credit?
at the register. Well, good evening, Tiffany. You can see the tents and a lot of debris is still here, but the people are not. And what's happening is the city mandated that the protesters must be out of the park and cleared by midnight. But it appears that tonight's windy conditions just might give those protesters a little extra time. Protesters occupying College Green Park in Iowa City are packing up and moving out.
We haven't been in the park in a long time.
Much like Wednesday's heavy winds, cold weather forced many of the occupiers to warmer places. But for the few that did stick around, the city manager's office says their time is up.
Your permit expires at the end of the day on Wednesday, and you need to be out, and they all understood that.
Of course, this comes after the group was denied a permit extension earlier this month. The city says the park had become a health, safety, and sanitation hazard, and that fights, assaults, and theft were the reasons the group's permit was rejected.
When we were in the park, it kind of fell apart. You know, like I said, with the logistical issues. We left the park, we weren't using it.
Once all of this has been removed, I'm told a portion of the park will be shut down. Park officials say all of the tents here cause major surface problems.
We know we're going to have to do some turf repair, and that won't be immediate either.
The question now is, will the movement continue to operate?
We've continued to meet. We meet at the UU, Old Brick, library sometimes. We have a number of things in the works. We're not going away anytime soon.
But what will be going away is a lot of the mess you see left behind me right here. The city manager's office, the city parks and recs department will be back out here tomorrow morning around 9 to make sure that all of this is cleaned up. And this portion is likely of the park of what will be shut down for a time being. We're not sure on when that will happen and how long it will be shut down. For now, covering the corridor tonight in Iowa City, Kelsey Miner, Fox News at 9. A number of the residents here, Tiffany, have had their homes tagged before, but it's never been racially motivated. Tonight I can see that the writing is gone now. It has been covered up, but police want to know who did this, and they say that they don't believe at this time it's the makings of a hate crime. Tammy Kuhlbeck walked out of her home to find this.
It just astounded me.
KKK painted on her garage door.
I looked around to see if anybody else had it.
Turns out 4 streets in the Stony Point area were also tagged with the letters. The act even more disturbing than the message for those who live here.
Do they know what it means?
Cedar Rapids police are investigating, and at this point they don't know who painted the racial slur. In just 2 months, police have been looking into 2 cases involving KKK references. Last month, people in this northeast Cedar Rapids neighborhood found these flyers warning that the KKK was watching out for their neighborhood, and they were stuck to their cars.
They were legal in what they did. Of course, yes, it raises concerns for individuals, but this one, there was criminal mischief that was done, something that was illegal.
Tammy Kuhlbeck is just one in a neighborhood of people who can't seem to understand the motive.
It's hard when it hits home because you're thinking, who in the neighborhood, and if it's neighborhood kids, what are they thinking?
Police say they hope it was only uninformed kids and
not a group of individuals that are coming in and starting to create problems like that. Because
investigators tonight want to know if you have any information regarding this incident. So if you do, call Crime Stoppers. That number 1-800-CS-CRIME. Covering the corridor tonight from Cedar Rapids, Kelsey Miner, CBS 2 News. Another Cedar Rapids officer is reportedly caught on camera in a compromising position. Now, new at 9 tonight, we'll take a closer look at this scam and we'll let you know what to do if you've already fallen victim to one of these. Investigators need your help tonight finding a missing teen.